Wynne's Liberals whistling past the graveyard. I'm Brian Lilly with Rebel.media. More businesses in Ontario. They're looking at moving or expanding stateside rather than in Ontario. But Kathleen Wynne's Liberal government seems to think there's nothing to worry about. Kind of like the old Mad magazine and Alfred E. Newman with What, Me Worry? You remember that. Alfred E. Newman, the mischievous young kid from the Mad magazine days. Well, that's Kathleen Wynne and her assorted cabinet ministers now. I've told you before more than once about this. Companies looking at leaving Ontario due to high power prices and the new cap-and-trade system. Recently, a successful greenhouse operation in Ottawa revealed that cap-and-trade is now costing him a $6,200 increase on his monthly energy bills. Now that works out to $74,400 a year. That's a really good salary for someone or its two workers at lower wages. But that's just the increase in cap-and-trade. That's the money that Bob Mitchell from Suntech could be using to hire people instead of sending it to Wynne and Company. He gets nothing extra for all that money, just less cash to hire people to keep his business running. Well, a great piece in the Financial Post now highlights even more problems like this in the Toronto area. A specialty paint shop, one that coats and paints industrial materials, that holds defense contracts with the U.S. Navy, is looking at expanding in the States instead of at home in Ontario. Automatic coating has been operating in Toronto since the 1950s. It employs 75 people, runs 2 shifts, it pays good wages, and all of that could be changing. The $49,000 a month bill for electricity is too much, and in Mississippi, power rates and a whole lot more cost a lot less. Now, the Post profiles other companies that are looking at moving to U.S. states such as Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, everything from plastics makers to food production companies that just can't make ends meet with these out-of-control bills. And businesses, well, they're not going to be getting that 25% cut that takes effect July 1st. They'll keep paying, which is why so many are looking to move. Now, this piece in the Post asks the minister in charge for comment. Brad Dogood, he seems oblivious. While he admits that energy prices are high in Ontario, he maintains that Ontario is the best place to set up a business. I want to read a couple of paragraphs from the piece for you because it just shows his entire mentality. Dogood says, for every business that's leaving, there are probably 3 or 4 that are coming. This is what he says, sitting in his spacious office on Bay Street, decorated with paintings and photographs of his hero, former U.S. President John F. Kennedy. Dogood says, we're leading the G7 in growth right now in Ontario. The piece goes on to say, Dogood's office later sends data that boasts of the jobs Ontario has recently created in information and computer technology, fintech, life sciences, and clean tech. The note does not mention manufacturing, though Ontario historically is Canada's manufacturing heartland. See, the Liberals, they love creating jobs as long as it's not in dirty manufacturing. But not everyone's going to be a computer engineer or a programmer. They won't all work in clean tech. A lot of people like to work with their hands and stuff needs to be made. These are good jobs, but we're losing them. A report out 3 years ago from the Liberal-leaning Mowat Centre found that Ontario had lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs over a decade. In the last 10 years, the City of Toronto has lost 20% of its manufacturing jobs. It's only getting worse. This is not good, and it cries out for a change in the disastrous government policies that are driving companies away. But the Ontario Liberals are tone deaf. Liberal MPP, a Toronto area MPP and Parliamentary Secretary Bob Delaney, he went down to the Windsor area and actually told locals that they were all wrong on why greenhouse growers are leaving that area of Ontario. Agriculture and greenhouses in particular are big business down there. They're vital to the economy. But due to high energy costs, many are either expanding or planning expansion in the U.S., crossing over to places like Ohio. Well, Delaney shows up and says that the reason they're leaving isn't the cost of energy, it's that the area is humid. Who are you going to believe? A politician that did internet marketing before getting elected? Or the farmers? Because check out what Jim DeMena, the president and CEO of Red Sun Farms, told the Windsor Star. DeMena said, that's a misunderstanding. Humidity is not a deal breaker. The cost of energy is a deal breaker. And DeMena also told the Star that Ohio is as humid as Essex County. A government official lying. Fake news for everyone. Delaney's office later tried to say humidity was a factor. He was just trying to save face. The simple fact is that Kathleen Wynne and the Liberals are driving Ontario's economy into the ground with their green energy plans, their cap-and-trade system, their endless regulations for starting and operating a business in this province. They know there's a problem, But the problem is they have no plan to fix it, or perhaps more importantly, they have no desire to fix it because it would violate their green religion. They would rather everyone be unemployed as long as they feel good about what they're doing for greenhouse gases. I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's time to fire Wynne. If you haven't signed a petition yet and you want Kathleen Wynne gone from office, then please go to firewynne.ca, add your name, and then share the petition on social media so your fellow Ontarians can sign up so they can make their voices heard. Go now, firewynne.ca. If you like the video you just watched and want to see more, make sure you click subscribe. Never miss a Rebel video again. And hey, do us a favor, share this on Facebook.